Hi, I'm Gabriel, and this is Learning English Path. And in this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to speak English like Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray. You are going to learn English speaking with a movie in this lesson. And that movie is called Lost in Translation. It's a movie with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson, two very famous movie stars. And we are going to watch one scene from the movie where they meet for the first time in a bar in Japan. Okay, and we're going to watch that scene 3 times using my movie method that I help students to learn to speak English with when I teach them. But if you really want to improve your English speaking a lot, then I still have my English speaking club available. And what is the English speaking club? That is where you get to join me in a private voice chat group, me and other English learners who are in the group, and talk with them and talk with me personally every day, all right? This group doesn't close. This is a group where you can, whenever you have time, leave a voice message and practice your English conversation and continue an English conversation with me and the other learners. And I will give you feedback and corrections. I will help you with your pronunciation, with your grammar, with your vocabulary, and with your conversation skills. Everything you need to become more fluent in English. And this you can get for just $29 a month. Or if you want the 1-year membership, you can get it for just $248. All right, you save $100 by getting the 1-year membership. And that is less, much less than $1 a day. You get to be in the group with me every day for a year for that price. And you will also get 4 live video lessons each month that you are in the group. And those video lessons will continue to help you with your English speaking and your English fluency. It's a fantastic deal, and the link is in the description and in the comments, okay? So if you really want to find out more, go click the link, and I really hope to speak with you soon, all right? Now, you can also, in the description, get my free PDF guide to 101 songs to learn English. This is a guide with 125 pages of exercises that you can complete while you're listening to English songs and English music. And by doing this, you will improve your English grammar. All right, and your English vocabulary, and of course your English listening when you are listening to the songs. So that's a fantastic guide, and it's completely free as well. If you click the link for that, you just have to give me your email, and then I'll email you the guide, and I will also email you 5 words of the week each week. Fantastic again. All right, and if you like this video, then please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give this video a like and leave a comment. All right, let's watch the scene for the first time. All right, now here is the scene, and we are going to watch it 3 times. The first time, you're just going to answer one question, one focus question, and just watch the scene and try to understand what's happening in the scene. You don't have to understand everything, okay? You just have to understand generally what they're talking about. And the second time we watch it, I'm going to teach you some vocabulary and expressions, all right, so that you understand almost everything in the conversation. And the third time we watch it, you are going to speak, okay? You are going to practice repeating what the characters say. So you will practice what Scarlett Johansson says and what Bill Murray says in the scene. And I will make sure that I give you enough time to repeat everything that is said, all right? So the focus question in this first time that we watch it is, what do they cheers to? All right? When you cheers to something, it means the same thing as toasting to something. So they are going to raise their glasses and they're going to drink to something. What do they cheers to? Let's watch.
Thanks.
What can I get you?
I'm not sure.
For relaxing times, make it Suntory.
time.
I'll have a vodka tonic.
Okay.
Thanks. So what are you doing here?
A couple of things. Taking a break from my wife, forgetting my son's birthday, and getting paid $2 million to endorse a whiskey when I could be doing a play somewhere.
Oh.
But the good news is the whiskey works. What are you doing?
My husband's a photographer, so he's here working, and wasn't doing anything, so I came along, and we have some friends that live here.
How long have you been married?
Oh, thank you. 2 years?
25 long ones.
You're probably just having a midlife crisis. Did you buy a Porsche yet?
You know, I was thinking about buying a Porsche.
In 25 years. It's impressive.
Well, you figure you sleep 1/3 of your life. That knocks off 8 years of marriage right there. So you're down to 16 and change, and you're just a teenager at marriage. You can drive it, but there's still the occasional accident.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I'm not sure yet, actually. I just graduated last spring.
What did you study?
Philosophy.
Yeah, there's a good buck in that racket.
Yeah. Well, so far it's pro bono.
Well, I'm sure you'll figure out the angles.
Yeah. I hope your Porsche works out. Cheers to that, huh?
Cheers to that. Kampai.
All right, what do they cheers to? They cheers to his Porsche. Now, they don't actually necessarily cheers to the car itself, but what she's really saying there is good luck with your situation, all right? Because we have identified the Porsche as being symbolic of his midlife crisis, right? So she is really saying, let's drink to your luck in your midlife crisis, all right? Now, we're going to watch the scene a second time, and this time I'm going to teach you some of these expressions and the vocabulary. So if you feel like you didn't understand, then don't worry. You're going to learn now.
Thank you. Hey, thanks.
What can I get you?
All right, the bartender asks, "What can I get you?" Now, this simply means, "What drink would you like?" But this is a more common way of asking it.
I'm not sure.
For relaxing times, make it Suntory time.
I'll have a vodka tonic. Thanks. So what are you doing here?
So, what are you doing here? In this movie, he is a famous movie star. So, she has probably seen him in movies. And they are both in Japan right now. So, when she asks, "So, what are you doing here?" it doesn't mean, "What are you doing in the bar?" It means, "What are you doing in Japan?" And this is a great conversation starter. You can also say this is an icebreaker. That means a good way to start a conversation.
A couple of things. Taking a break from my wife, forgetting my son's birthday, and getting paid $2 million to endorse a whiskey when I could be doing a play somewhere.
Oh.
But the good news is the whiskey works.
The good news is the whiskey works. So here, he is thankful for the alcohol. And why is he thankful for the alcohol? Because he is listing all of these bad things in his life right now. He is not getting on with his wife. He says he is missing or forgetting his son's birthday, and he would rather not be doing the job that he's doing. So he's complained about all of this stuff, but then as a witty comment, a joke, he turns it around and says, "But the good news is the whiskey works."
What are you doing?
What are you doing? So here, he's not asking what she's doing right this second, right? He is asking the same question she asked, which is, what are you doing in Japan? But that in Japan is implied.
My husband's a photographer, so he's here working, and wasn't doing anything, so I came along, and we have some friends that live here.
So she says that she came along with her husband, right? Because she didn't have anything better to do, so she says. So when you say you come along with someone, it means that someone else is going for a specific reason, okay? A real reason. But you are just going with them because you want to keep them company, or they want you to keep them company, right? So you just come along. So she says, I came along, and she's talking about her husband.
How long you been married?
How long you been married? All right, now here you will notice that it is not the grammatically correct how long have you been married? And that is because this is an elliptical sentence. And you can check out my other video on elliptical sentences. Actually, I have 3 videos on elliptical sentences. They are about how you can leave out some words when you are speaking casually in a conversation.
Oh, thank you. 2 years?
25 long ones.
25 long ones. Now, he is answering a question that she has not asked. And it's perfectly fine to do that when you're in this kind of casual conversation, getting to know each other. He asked her the question, she answered, and he just compared her answer with his, which is perfectly fine. And so he's talking about years when he says long ones. And the way he says it, you know that he is getting a little bit tired of his marriage, right? 25 long ones.
You're probably just having a midlife crisis.
A midlife crisis is a time in someone's life, usually in their late 30s or their 40s or maybe even early 50s, where they are starting to question what they're doing with their life. They're starting to wonder if they're living well, and starting to feel like they're getting older and wanting to make changes in their life. And it's also kind of a state of panic as well. It's not really a happy time. It's a state of worry, concern, and panic. So midlife crisis.
Did you buy a Porsche yet?
Did you buy a Porsche yet? Now, at first I thought she said, did you buy a Porsche? Because some people actually do pronounce this car as Porsche. And it's one of my favorite kind of cars. Now, why does she ask this question? It's actually a reference to the movie American Beauty, where Kevin Spacey, the character played by Kevin Spacey, goes and buys himself a Porsche when he is having a midlife crisis. So this is kind of a running joke here in the movies.
You know, I was thinking about buying a Porsche.
In 25 years. It's impressive.
Well, you figure...
Now, before he starts telling his joke about how his 25 years of marriage is really just like 16 years because you have to take away the 8 hours of sleep everyone has, he says, well, you figure. And when he says it like this, he means you need to calculate or you need to understand, right? So, well, you figure, and then it's basically him saying, let's calculate this.
You sleep 1/3 of your life. That knocks off 8 years of marriage right there. So you're down to 16 and change, and you're just a teenager at marriage. You can drive it, but there's still the occasional accident.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a joke when he's talking about how his marriage is still a teenager. You can drive it, but there's still the occasional accident. So in the USA, you can get a driver's license and a car when you are just 16 years old. So when he says his marriage is basically 16 years old, he's saying that you can drive a car when you're 16, but you will still have some accidents because you don't really know what you're doing yet.
What do you do?
What do you do is a simple way of asking what is your job or what career do you have?
I'm not sure yet, actually. I just graduated last spring.
I just graduated last spring. Now this means that she has completed her university degree and it ended last spring. So because of that, she still doesn't know what kind of career she wants to go into.
What did you study?
Philosophy.
Yeah, there's a good buck in that racket.
So she says that she studied philosophy, and he says, I heard there's a good buck in that racket. And he is being sarcastic, right? He is joking. When someone says there's a good buck in something, that means that you can make a lot of money doing it. Now, there's not a lot of money for most people who come out of a philosophy degree. So when he says, I heard there's a good buck in that racket meaning something that people do or try to do for a living. So he is being facetious and sarcastic and joking.
Yeah. Well, so far it's pro bono.
Pro bono is for free, all right? So when she says, so far it's pro bono, she's continuing the joke, and she's saying that she so far is working for free.
Well, I'm sure you'll figure out the angles.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll figure out the angles. Now, this means that I'm sure you can negotiate with someone to make more money. And of course, he's joking again. They're continuing this joke that they have.
I hope your Porsche works out.
Now, when she says, I hope your Porsche works out, remember, she is not necessarily saying, I hope you get your Porsche, but because they have identified the midlife crisis along with the Porsche, she is really saying, I hope your midlife crisis ends soon.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Kampai.
Cheers to that, meaning let's drink to that.
Thank you. Hey, thanks.
All right, now we are going to watch it for a third time, and this time I want you to repeat what they say when I throw up the word speak.
What can I get you?
I'm not sure.
For relaxing times, make it Suntory
time.
I'll have a vodka tonic.
Okay.
Thanks. So what are you doing here?
A couple of things. Taking a break from my wife, forgetting my son's birthday. And getting paid $2 million to endorse a whiskey when I could be doing a play somewhere.
Oh.
But the good news is the whiskey works. What are you doing?
My husband's a photographer, so he's here working. And I wasn't doing anything, so I came along, and we have some friends that live here.
How long you been married?
Oh, thank you. 2 years?
25 long ones.
You're probably just having a midlife crisis. Did you buy a Porsche yet?
You know, I was thinking about buying a Porsche.
In 25 years. Well, it's impressive.
Well, you figure you sleep 1/3 of your life. That knocks off 8 years of marriage right there. So you're down to 16 and change, and you're just a teenager. At marriage, you can drive it, but there's still the occasional accident. What do you do?
I'm not sure yet, actually. I just graduated last spring.
What did you study?
Philosophy.
Yeah, there's a good buck in that racket.
Yeah. Well, so far it's pro bono.
Well, I'm sure you'll figure out the angles.
Yeah. I hope your Porsche works out. Cheers to that, huh?
Cheers to that. Kanpai.